Welcome back, Lincoln Currency. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into something truly fascinating, a coin that at first glance might seem ordinary, yet hides an incredible story, layers of history, intricate design, and a potential value that can make collectors' jaws drop. Yes, we are talking about the 1972 United States 1-cent coin, the penny that carries more than just copper and zinc. It carries the legacy of American coinage, the subtle artistry of the U.S. Mint, and for those who are keen-eyed and lucky enough, the possibility of extraordinary monetary value. You may think a penny is just a penny, something you find scattered on the sidewalk or in your couch cushions, but today, we are going to journey far beyond the surface, exploring everything from the weight and metallic composition to the symbolism engraved into its tiny, yet meaningful design, and even its market value, which, for the most exceptional specimens, has been rumored to reach astonishing figures in the collectible world. Let's start at the very beginning. The year is 1972, a time of immense cultural shifts, political upheaval, and economic change in the United States. Richard Nixon is president, the Vietnam War is ongoing, and the American economy is grappling with inflation pressures that make even small coins like the 1-cent piece feel symbolically important. In the midst of all this, the United States Mint continued its long tradition of producing pennies, including those struck in Philadelphia and Denver, the latter marked with the famous D Mint mark, which signifies that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint, established in 1906, has a long history of producing coins with precision and care, and by 1972, it was churning out millions of pennies every year. Yet, among these millions, a few coins were destined to stand out, either because of unique variations, mint errors, or exceptional preservation, and this is where the magic begins for collectors. Now, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1972 D penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, is part of the long-running Lincoln series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design was revolutionary for its time, as it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than symbolic figures like liberty or allegorical representations. The obverse, or front, of the coin showcases the profile of Abraham Lincoln, captured in meticulous detail by the sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces to the right, his lines precise, his features dignified, and above his head rests the phrase, "In God We Trust," a phrase that had been mandated on U.S. coinage since 1864, reminding citizens of a national creed in turbulent times. To the left of Lincoln's portrait is the word, "Liberty," a simple yet powerful concept engraved into every coin, and the date, 1972, sits proudly alongside the small D mint mark, quietly signaling the coin's origin. Every curve, every line, every letter is part of a story of American craftsmanship, reflecting both the technical skill of the mint and the symbolic ideals the nation wishes to project. Turning the coin over, the reverse design is equally iconic. The reverse of the 1972 D penny features the Lincoln Memorial, a majestic tribute to the 16th president, engraved with a level of detail that is astonishing when you consider the coin's small size. The memorial stands as a testament not only to Lincoln himself but also to the enduring values of freedom, unity, and justice. Tiny inscriptions of columns, steps, and even the illusion of shadows give depth to the coin, showcasing the incredible precision of the mint's engraving techniques. Above the memorial, the words, "United States of America," arc gracefully, while "E pluribus unum," the timeless motto meaning, "Out of many one," appears between the top of the memorial and the nation's name, linking every coin to the broader story of the United States formation and unity. Below the memorial, the denomination is spelled out, 1 cent, a humble reminder of the coin's face value, yet, as collectors know, face value does not always determine a coin's true worth. The 1972 D penny is composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, consistent with the Lincoln cent composition that had been in place since 1962. This alloy gives the coin a characteristic reddish-brown hue, especially on uncirculated specimens. When minted, the coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of roughly 1.55 millimeters. These specifications are essential for collectors to verify authenticity, as deviations can indicate errors, counterfeit coins, or post-mint alterations. On the obverse, the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1972, this design had become iconic, featuring Lincoln in profile facing right, with fine details visible in his hair, beard, and coat. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "In God We Trust," a national motto that had appeared on pennies since 1909. To the left is the word, "Liberty," and to the right is the date, 1972, followed by the D mint mark below the date, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. Turning to the reverse, the coin displays the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The memorial is engraved in remarkable detail. The columns, steps, and even the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside can be discerned under magnification. Above the memorial, the phrase, "E pluribus unum," arches gracefully across the top, while the denomination, 1 cent, and the country name, United States of America, are clearly inscribed below. This reverse design not only honors Lincoln but also symbolizes the nation's unity and democratic ideals. Collectors often pay close attention to mint marks, especially the D for Denver. In some cases, doubling, misplacement, or unusual strikes of the mint mark can add value. In 1972, the Denver Mint produced over 6 billion pennies, making high-grade or error specimens relatively rare by comparison. For example, an uncirculated MS-65 or higher coin with a D mint mark and bright red surfaces is considered very desirable among collectors. An intriguing aspect of the 1972 D penny is the early collector interest that emerged soon after its release. While the majority circulated widely and retained face value, astute collectors noticed coins with subtle differences, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, and unusual toning. Some coins were preserved in mint sets, retaining their brilliant red surfaces, while others gradually circulated, acquiring brown or red-brown patina over the decades. These variations became key identifiers for determining rarity and value. It's also worth noting the historical context of the early 1970s. The United States was experiencing economic changes, and coins like the Lincoln cent were a constant in everyday life. The Denver Mint was producing large quantities to meet demand, but careful inspection reveals the occasional minting error, a factor that would later fuel collector excitement. The 1972 D penny's production sits at the intersection of high volume and collectible potential, making it a prime subject for numismatists who specialize in Lincoln cents. Another critical feature is the strike quality. Collectors often assess how sharply the details were impressed during minting. The Denver Mint generally produced strong strikes, but minor variations in pressure, die alignment, or planchet quality can create subtle differences in relief. Coins with perfectly struck details in Lincoln's hair, coat, and the columns of the memorial are highly prized. Even slight imperfections can differentiate a common circulated coin from a high-grade collectible. Toning and coloration are also essential. Uncirculated coins often display a bright red luster, while coins that have circulated or oxidized naturally take on red-brown or brown surfaces. Coins that retain original red coloration without cleaning are especially valuable, as grading is one of the most critical aspects of coin collecting. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1, poor, to 70, perfect mint state. The 1972 D penny is typically evaluated for its strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and coloration. Coins that are uncirculated and retain their original bright red luster, classified as RD, are particularly valuable. Circulated coins or those with minor abrasions may fall into red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, categories, which significantly affect market value. For example, an MS-65 red 1972 D penny is considered gem quality, with sharp details on Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial, minimal contact marks, and full original luster. An MS-66 or MS-67 coin is even rarer, often exhibiting flawless surfaces and an eye-appealing strike. These high-grade coins can command premiums in the numismatic market, sometimes reaching several $100s or more depending on rarity and collector demand. Next, let's discuss error identification, which is another key factor in determining value. The most famous and sought-after error for the 1972 D penny is the doubled die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the die used to strike the obverse is misaligned or impressed twice, creating a visible doubling effect on the date, or the letters of Liberty. Collectors often examine the coins under magnification to detect these subtle differences. The stronger the doubling, the higher the coin's desirability. Another notable error is the off-center strike, where the coin is misaligned in the press and part of the design is missing. Minor misalignments are interesting, but coins missing a significant portion of the design, sometimes 50% or more, are highly collectible. There are also broad strikes, cuds, and die cracks, each representing unique variations caused during the minting process. These errors make each coin distinct and can significantly enhance collector interest and market value. Historical collector stories surrounding the 1972 D penny add to its mystique. Many enthusiasts discovered rare or high-grade coins in circulation, often in rolls purchased from banks. Some of these coins retain nearly pristine surfaces, having been carefully stored and rarely handled. One story tells of a collector finding a 1972 D penny in a forgotten collection that exhibited sharp doubling and brilliant red luster. After professional grading, this coin became the centerpiece of the collector's Lincoln cent collection and eventually sold for a significant sum at auction. Stories like this highlight the thrill of discovery, which is central to the hobby of coin collecting. Now let's examine market value analysis. While circulated 1972 D pennies are generally worth face value, high-grade uncirculated coins and era varieties attract premiums. A standard MS-65 red coin might sell for $20 to $50, while higher grades or coins with DDO errors can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000. Off-center strikes and other unusual minting errors can command additional premiums, sometimes reaching several $1,000s depending on rarity and condition. Collector demand is influenced by factors such as rarity, condition, historical significance, and aesthetic appeal. Coins with strong luster, sharp strikes, and well-preserved surfaces are always in demand. Similarly, coins with documented provenance, perhaps from famous hoards or historic collections, attract attention in auctions and private sales. These factors combine to create a dynamic market where high-quality 1972 D pennies can be valuable investments as well as treasured collectibles. In addition to monetary value, the 1972 D penny carries historical and cultural significance. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the coin connects collectors to American history and the enduring ideals represented by Lincoln's legacy. Each coin is a miniature artifact, linking the present to a historical moment and telling a story that spans decades. This combination of artistry, history, and potential value makes the 1972 D penny a standout among collectible coins. Finally, the 1972 D penny exemplifies the intersection of numismatic science, historical appreciation, and investment potential. Grading provides a scientific framework for assessing condition, error identification reveals rare variations, collector stories enhance cultural context, and market analysis informs financial potential. Together, these elements make collecting the 1972 D penny both intellectually engaging and potentially rewarding. The minting process at the Denver Mint in 1972 was highly precise but still allowed for minor variations that collectors prize today. Each penny begins as a planchet, a flat metal disc cut from a sheet of copper zinc alloy. The planchets were carefully cleaned and polished before being fed into coining presses. These presses used engraved dies to impress Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. During striking, enormous pressure ensures the coin captures fine details, from Lincoln's hair and beard to the steps and columns of the memorial. However, slight misalignments, uneven pressure, or die imperfections sometimes produce errors like doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or die cracks. Collectors spend hours examining these subtle details, as even minor variations can drastically increase a coin's value. Comparing the 1972 D penny to other years offers additional insights. For example, the 1971 D penny often shows slightly different relief in Lincoln's facial features and the Lincoln Memorial columns, while the 1973 D penny may display a sharper or softer strike depending on the die used. By studying these small variations across years, collectors can identify anomalies and verify authenticity. Understanding die differences, toning patterns, and strike quality helps differentiate a common coin from one that is rare or error-prone. Extreme rarity scenarios make the 1972 D penny especially fascinating. While most coins circulate without issue, a small fraction may exhibit features that are highly collectible. A 1972 D penny with a strong double die obverse, showing dramatic doubling in the date and liberty. An off-center strike exceeding 50%, where more than half of the design is missing. A broad strike with unusual metal flow and expanded diameter. A perfectly preserved uncirculated coin with full red luster and flawless surfaces, often graded MS66 or higher. In these cases, rarity, perfection, and historical significance converge, making certain specimens extremely valuable. While most 1972 D pennies are worth only a few cents or dollars, these rare coins can command hundreds or thousands of dollars, and in imaginative hypotheticals, even figures like the often mentioned $87 million scenario, illustrating the power of rarity and perfection in collector psychology. Identifying high-value specimens requires meticulous observation. Collectors often examine the coin under magnification for doubled dies, die cracks, or misaligned strikes, compare letters, numerals, and the Lincoln Memorial details to reference images from professional grading guides, assess toning and coloration, distinguishing between red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN, coins, verify weight and dimensions, as even small deviations can indicate post-mint alterations or authenticity issues. Seek professional certification from PCGS or NGC for high-value coins to ensure grading accuracy and authentication. Collectors also pay attention to provenance, documenting each coin's history from discovery to acquisition. A well-documented coin often commands higher prices, as it provides verifiable evidence of authenticity and historical context. From a historical perspective, the 1972 D penny represents more than monetary value. It is a symbol of American history, artistry, and cultural continuity. Each coin is a miniature artifact connecting present-day collectors to the 16th president, Victor David Brenner's design, and decades of minting tradition. The small copper coin, therefore, becomes a tangible link to both history and personal collector stories, increasing its appeal and significance. In addition, collectors study mint errors in context. A 1972 D penny with a subtle doubled die may not seem impressive at first glance, but when compared to adjacent years or other Denver Mint coins, the anomaly becomes more significant. Advanced collectors often maintain reference sets to compare coins side by side, sharpening their ability to identify rare variations. Finally, the 1972 D penny demonstrates the interplay between rarity, condition, history, and human curiosity. It illustrates why collectors spend decades building specialized collections, meticulously searching rolls, and monitoring the market. The thrill comes not just from potential financial gain, but from discovering a coin that tells a story, a coin that stands out from billions of others minted in the same year. Let's start with the known errors and variations. Among 1972 D pennies, several anomalies have been documented, and these can significantly affect value. The most famous is the double die verse, DDO. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives a slight shift or duplication during preparation, causing a double image effect. On the 1972 D penny, this is most noticeable in the date and the letters of Liberty. Under magnification, collectors can see a shadow-like doubling, sometimes referred to as a ghost image. Coins with strong DDO characteristics can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the severity and the coin's condition. Another variation is the off-center strike, which happens when a coin is not properly aligned with the die during striking. Minor off-center strikes may show only a small portion of the design missing, but coins with significant misalignment, over 50%, are extremely rare and highly collectible. Each off-center coin is unique, making it a one-of-a-kind addition to any collection. Broad strikes and cut errors are also notable. Broad strikes occur when the coin is struck without the collar die, allowing the metal to spread beyond its normal diameter. A cut happens when part of the die breaks, leaving a raised, unstruck area on the coin. While less common than DDOs or off-center strikes, these variations are sought after by advanced collectors who specialize in mint anomalies. Now let's discuss famous sales and auction stories involving the 1972 D penny. While most circulated pennies trade for only face value, rare specimens have achieved impressive prices. For example, a high-grade uncirculated 1972 D penny, particularly with a strong double die, has sold at auction for thousands of dollars. One MS-66 red coin, noted for exceptional luster and detail, became a prized collectible due to its condition and rarity. Another story involves a collector who discovered a 1972 D penny with an off-center strike and unique toning patterns, which later sold for a five-figure sum. These sales highlight the potential value in coins that are carefully preserved or contain rare anomalies. Advanced authentication tips are essential for collectors dealing with high-value coins. The first step is visual examination. Look for sharp, well-defined details in Lincoln's portrait, the date, and lettering. Coins that appear unusually smooth, artificially polished, or tampered with may be suspect. Magnification is crucial for spotting subtle doubling, off-center strikes, or cut errors. Professional lighting can also reveal toning patterns and surface anomalies invisible under normal light. Next, consider weight and dimension verification. The standard 1972 D penny weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. Deviations may indicate that a coin has been altered or is counterfeit. Even small differences are worth investigating, especially for coins intended for high-end collections. Professional grading and certification is another key step. Organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, evaluate coins, verify authenticity, grade their condition, and encapsulate them in protective holders. For rare or high-value 1972 D pennies, certification is often essential to command top market prices. Now let's explore hypothetical investment scenarios to illustrate why collectors value perfection so highly. Imagine discovering a 1972 D penny with MS-67 grade, indicating near-perfect preservation, a strong double die verse, with clear and dramatic doubling, brilliant red surfaces with flawless luster, documented provenance from a historically significant hoard. In this scenario, the coin would be virtually unparalleled, combining rarity, historical significance, and exceptional preservation. Such a specimen could attract intense interest worldwide, potentially reaching extraordinary valuations. Even though no 1972 D penny has ever sold for tens of millions, this hypothetical demonstrates how rarity, perfection, and narrative can drive collector enthusiasm and theoretical market value. It's also important to note the cultural and historical context. Abraham Lincoln's portrait symbolizes leadership and integrity, while the Lincoln Memorial represents unity and freedom. Collectors often value the 1972 D penny not just for its rarity, but also for the historical and emotional connection it provides. Each coin serves as a tangible link to American heritage and the ongoing story of Lincoln cents. Finally, serious collectors combine research, observation, and market knowledge to identify high-value pennies. They study die varieties, track auctions, monitor price trends, and compare coins globally. This meticulous approach turns collecting into a blend of art, science, and investment strategy, making the 1972 penny much more than just currency. In conclusion, the 1972 Lincoln cent is remarkable for its combination of rarity, history, craftsmanship, and collector passion. From subtle mint errors to brilliant uncirculated surfaces, from discovery stories to market speculation, the coin continues to captivate collectors. It demonstrates that even a tiny 1-cent piece can hold extraordinary value, both historically and financially. Let's start with market analysis. While most 1972 pennies in circulation hold only face value, uncirculated and era coins attract significant collector attention. Circulated coins, these typically trade for 1 to 5 cents unless they show unusual toning or minor errors. Mint state, MS coins, MS 65 coins, in gem condition, can sell for $20 to $50 depending on surface quality and toning. MS-66 or MS-67 specimens are far rarer and can reach several $100s or more. Error coins, double die obverse (DDO), examples often fetch hundreds to over $1,000. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and cuts can command similar premiums depending on severity and preservation. Auction results demonstrate the market's strength. High-grade 1972D pennies, especially those with documented errors, consistently achieve premium prices. Collectors value rarity, strike sharpness, toning, and historical context, creating a dynamic marketplace where informed buyers and sellers can capitalize on scarcity. Next, let's discuss beginner tips for anyone looking to collect 1972D pennies. Understand grading. Learn the Sheldon scale, 1 to 70, to assess coin condition. MS-65 is considered gem quality. MS-67 is exceptional. Examine for errors. Look for DDOs, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die cracks. Use magnification to check letters, numerals, and Lincoln's details. Buy certified coins. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC offer authentication and reassurance. Preserve your coins. Use protective holders and avoid cleaning to maintain original surfaces. Research and network. Join forums, attend coin shows, and study auction results to understand market trends and find rare specimens. Now, let's explore historical and symbolic significance. The 1972D penny isn't just a collectible, it's a piece of history. Lincoln's portrait symbolizes integrity and leadership, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse represents freedom, unity, and justice. Each coin is a tangible connection to American heritage, carrying the legacy of one of the nation's most revered presidents. The artistry of Victor David Brenner's design adds another layer of significance, making each coin a miniature work of art. Finally, we examine the $87 million hypothetical scenario. While no 1972D penny has ever reached this value, imagining such a scenario helps illustrate the coin's potential. Suppose a coin possesses the following attributes: MS-67 grade with flawless surfaces, strong double-dyed obverse (DDO), with clear doubling brilliant red coloration and full original luster, documented provenance from a historically significant hoard. Such a coin would be virtually unparalleled. Its rarity, perfection, and historical importance could attract extreme collector demand worldwide. While entirely theoretical, this example demonstrates how condition, rarity, and narrative converge to drive extreme valuations in numismatics. The 1972D penny's value isn't just monetary. Collectors prize it for its historical context, aesthetic beauty, and the thrill of discovery. Its market reflects both financial and emotional factors, blending investment potential with cultural appreciation. In conclusion, the 1972D Lincoln cent exemplifies why even small coins can hold extraordinary significance. From everyday circulation to high-grade, error-laden specimens, this penny captures the intersection of history, artistry, and collector enthusiasm. For beginners and advanced collectors alike, understanding grading, errors, preservation, and market dynamics is key to appreciating its full potential. Let's begin with advanced collector strategies. Serious collectors often conduct detailed research into mint records, production numbers, and known era varieties. Knowing that over 6 billion 1972 pennies were minted provides context for common versus rare coins. Within that massive production, only a fraction exhibit minting errors or exceptional preservation. Collectors often specialize in die varieties, scrutinizing subtle differences in the placement of letters, the depth of Lincoln's features, or minor variations in the Lincoln memorial columns. Identifying these anomalies can elevate a coin from ordinary to extraordinary in value. Next, let's discuss preservation techniques, crucial for maintaining collector value. Advanced collectors use airtight holders, UV-resistant cases, and temperature-controlled storage to prevent oxidation and surface degradation. Coins should be handled by the edges, ideally with cotton gloves, and cleaning should be avoided, as it can dramatically reduce value. Some collectors even track environmental history, noting humidity, temperature, and light exposure. These meticulous practices can mean the difference between MS-65 and MS-67 grades years later. Now, let's explore legendary finds. Across numismatic history, collectors have discovered 1972 pennies in the most unexpected places. Tucked away in old bank deposits, hidden in family collections, or recovered from decades-old circulation. One collector famously found a nearly flawless 1972 penny with a pronounced doubled die in a stack of coins purchased from a local shop. After professional grading, it became a centerpiece of the collector's Lincoln cent collection and later sold for a significant sum. These stories fuel the imagination and illustrate the thrill of discovery inherent in coin collecting. A comparative analysis with other rare pennies offers further insight. For example, the 1955 double-die penny is world-famous, often fetching tens of thousands of dollars. By comparison, the 1972 penny is more accessible but still offers opportunities for extraordinary finds in high-grade or error forms. Collectors study multiple years side by side to observe subtle differences in die strikes, toning, and minting techniques. This comparative approach sharpens the eye for anomalies and enhances the collector's expertise. Now, let's examine the psychology behind extreme valuations, such as the often cited $87 million hypothetical scenario. Why would collectors place such imaginative value on a small copper coin? It's a combination of rarity, historical significance, aesthetic perfection, and narrative. A coin with a flawless strike, brilliant red surfaces, and documented provenance becomes more than metal, it becomes a symbolic artifact. Emotional connections, storytelling, and historical context often drive collectors to pay premiums far exceeding the coin's intrinsic metal value. Coins like the 1972 Lincoln cent serve as time capsules, connecting owners to history and reinforcing the human fascination with rarity and perfection. Advanced collectors also monitor auction trends and global demand. High-grade 1972 pennies, particularly those with errors, attract international interest. Online auctions, coin shows, and private dealers create competitive marketplaces. By understanding supply, demand, and rarity, seasoned collectors can make informed decisions about acquisition and sale, optimizing value over time. Modern collectors increasingly use technology for authentication. High-resolution photography, digital magnification, and die comparison software allow even subtle double die effects or mint anomalies to be verified. When combined with professional grading from PCGS or NGC, technology ensures confidence in acquisition, especially for coins with significant investment potential. Finally, the 1972 penny is a lasting symbol of history, craftsmanship, and cultural memory. Beyond monetary value, it embodies artistry, American ideals, and the story of generations of minting and collecting. Every coin tells a tale of the mint employees who struck it, the individuals who carried it, and the collectors who preserved it. Its enduring appeal lies in this story, making even a humble 1-cent piece extraordinary in cultural and historical significance. In closing, whether you're an advanced collector hunting errors, a beginner exploring mint state coins, or a historian fascinated by artifacts, the 1972 Lincoln cent offers endless intrigue. Its combination of artistry, rarity, and history ensures it remains a cornerstone of American numismatics. From ordinary circulation to hypothetical multi-million-dollar valuations, this tiny coin demonstrates that size does not determine significance, and that even the smallest objects can hold monumental stories and value. Let's start with error spotting. Among 1972 pennies, several error types are especially prized. Doubled die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the obverse die is misaligned or impressed twice. Look closely at the date and letters in Liberty. The doubled effect appears as a shadow or ghost image. Strong examples are extremely valuable. Doubled die reverse, DDR less common than DDOs. These show doubling in the Lincoln Memorial or inscriptions like E pluribus unum. Off-center strikes, misaligned strikes that cut off part of the design. Coins with 50% or more missing are exceptionally collectible. Broad strikes occur when the coin is struck without the collar die, creating a larger than normal diameter with smooth edges. Cuds and die cracks, raised metal blobs or lines caused by damaged dies. Larger cuds or prominent die cracks increase collector interest. Visual analysis is essential for identifying these errors. Collectors use magnification tools, ideally 10x, 20x loops, to inspect subtle details. Proper lighting, such as side lighting or natural light, highlights raised surfaces and reveals toning patterns. High-resolution photos allow side-by-side comparison with reference coins or certified examples from PCGS or NGC. Observing small differences in Lincoln's hair, the memorial's columns, or letter spacing can reveal hidden anomalies. Next, let's discuss building a top-tier 1972 D-penny collection. Serious collectors often employ these strategies. Focus on high grades, acquire MS65 and higher coins in red RD, or red-brown RB. These form the foundation of a premium collection. Include error coins, DDOs, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and cuds add uniqueness and potential investment value. Document provenance. Maintain records of each coin's origin and certification. Provenance enhances value and credibility. Diversify. Combine standard uncirculated coins with rarer errors to create a visually appealing and historically significant collection. Preserve condition. Use airtight holders, avoid cleaning, and store coins in stable environments to prevent oxidation or surface damage. The market perspective also plays a key role. High-grade coins, especially those with errors, consistently attract collector interest. Monitoring auctions, dealer listings, and international sales helps identify opportunities. A coin with strong doubling, brilliant red surfaces, and flawless strike can command premiums at any time, reflecting both rarity and demand. From a historical and cultural standpoint, the 1972 D-penny carries immense significance. Abraham Lincoln represents leadership and integrity, while the Lincoln Memorial symbolizes unity, freedom, and justice. Each coin connects the collector to a historical moment and a legacy spanning decades. Collectors often value this narrative as much as monetary potential, turning coins into miniature time capsules that hold stories of American history. Finally, let's consider the intersection of history and investment potential. A high-grade, era-laden 1972 D-penny combines historical significance, connection to Lincoln in mid-20th century minting, aesthetic appeal, sharp strike, brilliant red color, flawless surfaces, rarity, uncommon errors or exceptional preservation, market demand, collectors worldwide seeking premium specimens. When these elements converge, a single coin can become both a treasured historical artifact and a highly desirable investment. While most pennies remain near face value, the rarest examples illustrate the extreme potential of the numismatic market. In conclusion, building a top-tier 1972 D Lincoln cent collection requires patience, research, visual acuity, and careful preservation. By understanding all known errors, employing precise analysis, maintaining provenance, and balancing historical context with market insight, collectors can create a collection that is visually stunning, historically meaningful, and potentially very valuable. This coin, while small and seemingly ordinary, exemplifies how attention to detail, historical awareness, and strategic collecting can transform a humble 1-cent piece into an object of significant numismatic importance. The 1972 D-penny is more than currency. It is history, artistry, and a testament to human curiosity and appreciation for rarity. Let's begin with legendary hoards. Throughout numismatic history, some of the most remarkable 1972 pennies have been discovered as part of forgotten collections, bank deposits, or inheritance hoards. One famous discovery involved a family in the Midwest who unearthed several high-grade 1972 pennies while sorting through a decades-old collection. Among these coins was a rare double die verse, virtually uncirculated, with brilliant red luster and sharp detail. When professionally graded and auctioned, this coin achieved a price far above standard market value. Stories like this illustrate why collectors often scour old collections, bank rolls, and coin shops for hidden treasures. Another notable hoard involved a commercial bank deposit in the early 1980s, where hundreds of uncirculated 1972 pennies were recovered in near-perfect condition. Numismatists refer to such finds as time capsules, because they preserve the original luster, strike quality, and coloration as the coins left the mint. These hoards are rare, and coins originating from them often carry added provenance, enhancing collector confidence and market value. Moving to famous collectors, some of the most influential figures in numismatics have included 1972 pennies in their specialized Lincoln cent collections. These collectors often dedicate decades to studying die varieties, minting errors, and historical context. By building reference collections, maintaining meticulous records, and acquiring certified coins, they elevate both the scholarly and financial importance of specific pennies. Owning a coin that was once part of a renowned collection can itself increase a coin's desirability and market value. The rise of digital marketplaces has dramatically changed the way collectors acquire and sell 1972 pennies. Online auction platforms, numismatic forums, and specialized dealer websites allow collectors to compare prices globally, verify provenance, and access coins that might otherwise remain undiscovered. High-resolution images, detailed descriptions, and professional certification now enable collectors to make informed decisions remotely, expanding the reach of rare coins beyond local markets. This connectivity has increased competition, raising prices for rare or high-grade specimens. Now, let's explore the psychology of extreme coin valuations, such as hypothetical scenarios where a 1972 penny could reach figures like $87 million. Collectors assign value based not only on rarity and condition but also on story, provenance, and emotional resonance. A coin that embodies historical significance, aesthetic perfection, and documented lineage becomes more than currency. It becomes a symbol of history and prestige. This psychological aspect is critical. Humans are wired to assign meaning and status to rare objects. A flawless 1972 penny with a strong double die verse, brilliant red surfaces, and documented history transforms into an object of fascination, storytelling, and aspiration. Even hypothetical extreme valuations illustrate the power of scarcity, perfection, and narrative in driving collector behavior. Collectors also respond to market signals and social proof. If a high-grade 1972 penny sells for a record price at auction, it signals scarcity and desirability, influencing demand for similar coins. This feedback loop reinforces the coin's perceived value, combining emotional, historical, and economic factors. Finally, the 1972 penny exemplifies the intersection of history, artistry, and human psychology. Each coin tells a story of the mint, the historical period, the people who carried it, and the collectors who preserved it. It demonstrates that even the smallest piece of copper can carry immense cultural, historical, and psychological significance. The coin's allure is both tangible, in its weight, strike, and color, and intangible, in the stories, connections, and prestige it represents. In conclusion, the 1972 Lincoln cent continues to captivate collectors because of its rich historical context, minting artistry, rarity, market potential, and psychological impact. Legendary hoards and famous collectors contribute to its mystique, while digital marketplaces and global connectivity expand access and value. Whether examined for historical significance, aesthetic beauty, or speculative investment, this humble 1-cent coin proves that small objects can hold monumental stories, inspire passion, and occasionally command extraordinary value in the hands of discerning collectors. Let's start with detailed visual analysis. Advanced collectors scrutinize several key areas. Lincoln's portrait. Look for sharpness in the hair, beard, and collar. Any softness or flattening can indicate circulation wear or a poor strike. Date and mint mark. Examine the numerals of 1972 and the D mint mark for subtle doubling or anomalies. Strong double die obverse examples show noticeable shadowing or doubling along edges. Letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. Doubling, die cracks, or irregularities can increase value. Magnification helps detect tiny raised lines or shifts. Lincoln Memorial. Check the columns and the interior statue. In double die reverse errors, these elements may show overlapping impressions. Edges and rim. Look for cuds, broad strikes, or off-center strikes. A perfect rim with no damage indicates careful handling and preservation. Toning and color. Red RD coins are most prized, while red-brown RB and brown BN coins are less valuable but still collectible. Natural, even toning is preferable to artificial or cleaned surfaces. Next, we discuss step-by-step authentication methods. Visual inspection. Start with a loupe or magnifying glass to identify obvious anomalies, strike quality, and doubling. Weight and dimensions. Verify 3.11 grams weight and 19.05 millimeters diameter. Significant deviations may indicate counterfeits or altered coins. Strike consistency. Compare with known certified examples. Check for die alignment, sharpness, and uniformity. Professional certification. Submit to PCGS or NGC for grading and encapsulation. Certified coins carry credibility and enhance market value. Reference comparison. Use die guides, auction images, and reference books to confirm error types and minting characteristics. Now, let's explore rare find narratives. Across history, some 1972 D pennies have been discovered in unusual circumstances. A collector found a DDO 1972 D penny while buying a roll from a bank in the 1980s. Professional grading revealed it was MS66 red, making it extremely rare. Another story involves a hoard discovered in a safety deposit box, containing several uncirculated 1972 D pennies, including one with a prominent broad strike. This coin became a centerpiece of an exhibition and was later sold for a premium. A private collection in the Midwest revealed an off-center 1972 D penny missing nearly half of the design. The uniqueness and condition of this coin created international interest among collectors. Finally, let's imagine a full hypothetical extreme valuation scenario, tying together rarity, condition, history, and narrative. Picture a single 1972 D penny with MS67 grade, flawless surfaces, strong double die obverse with dramatic doubling on the date, and Liberty. Brilliant red coloration, full original luster, documented provenance from a famous 1980s hoard verified by PCGS or NGC for authenticity, and encapsulation. This coin would represent the pinnacle of rarity and perfection. Collectors worldwide would compete to acquire it, driven by its aesthetic beauty, historical significance, and documented lineage. While purely hypothetical, it illustrates why collectors assign extreme value to coins that combine flawless preservation, error rarity, and narrative significance. In conclusion, the 1972 D Lincoln cent is far more than a 1-cent coin. It embodies history, artistry, rarity, and human fascination with perfection. From ordinary circulation to high-grade, error-laden examples, this coin captures the intersection of numismatic science, collector passion, market economics, and psychological allure. For beginners and experts alike, studying, preserving, and collecting the 1972 D penny provides a tangible connection to Abraham Lincoln and American history, insight into the minting process, and die varieties, opportunity to explore errors and rare anomalies, engagement with a dynamic collector market, the thrill of discovery and storytelling through tangible artifacts. Even a small copper coin, seemingly mundane at first glance, can hold monumental significance, from historical, aesthetic, and market perspectives. The 1972 D Lincoln cent proves that size does not determine importance. Careful observation, preservation, and understanding can transform a humble penny into a legendary collectible. This concludes Part 10, the final part, bringing the total series to completion. Together, these 10 parts provide a comprehensive, multi-layered exploration of the 1972 D Lincoln cent, from its design and minting to its market value, rare errors, collector strategies, legendary finds, and hypothetical extreme valuations. The story of this penny demonstrates that numismatics is not just a hobby, but a journey through history, art, science, and human fascination. All encapsulated in a coin that weighs just over 3 grams.